eyes and touch. Right, Tom's talking a lot about physical game, so the physical game I'm talking about is not escalation. These are just little tweaks. Because, for example, a lot of physical escalation is about putting a girl on a ladder and figuring out the right point to do the next major escalation, right? This is not about this. This is not about moving the girl forward. This is about just expressing masculine power. So, what would be examples of belligerent versus smooth eyes and touch? Well, belligerent, I'll give you a few. You know, putting both hands on her shoulders on the straight. That's quite belligerent. Whereas smooth, you might just be like tapping her arm, or you're just shaking her hand and holding it for a while, you know? Like, that's a very caddish thing to do, the long handhold, where you're just pulling her in like that and talking to her while you keep a hold of her hand like this. That's caddish, right? That's like a self-possession, caddish way of, you know, it's a smooth way of touching the girl. Whereas the belligerent way is like this on her. Right, other types of belligerence, tapping her nose. I love doing this, talking to a girl on the street, blah, blah, blah. She says something, I was like, no, no, no. And I'll tap her nose. That's belligerent. Prodding the belly, right? Yeah, so anyway, like that, you just prod her belly. You don't mind if I do this, just sorry. Grabbing accessories, right? She's got something on her, oh, give me a look at this, give me a look at this. Okay, right? It's quite belligerent, right? You're doing it fast and early in the set, and it's got a childish exuberance about it, right? Like, you have the right to touch her, right? Bull in a china shop. Smooth. Well, that's subtle and it's well chosen. It's a bit different. And normally, when you're doing the smooth touching, it's directly related to the content of the conversation. You know, like, she's talking about how she's come back from the library, say, she's carrying library books. Oh, give me a look at those. Come on, right, what are these, right? It's almost like the conversation give you the permission, and you're showing, right? Get back to the fencer, the matador, the probing boxer. You're probing the jab and feint out there to get her to talk about that. You're getting her to create that opening so you can then take the opening. Right? You see how that's about social acuity? It's not just smash and grab. And that's a different type of masculine polarity. But the fact that it's masculine polarity comes from the fact that you're going out there and putting it on, right? Because you think, what would a chode do? You just stay there like this, right? You wouldn't do it. So again, Tom will talk about physicality, but I'm just trying to draw how there's different types of physicality depending on the archetype you're putting out there. Another type of smooth physicality would be like, oh, look at this hat, it's like, got a woolly hat, oh, look, like this hat's like a marshmallow fell on your head, and then you like play with a hat, right? Again, you've jabbed your way in to that right hand. You haven't just like thrown the Hail Mary. So let's talk about, that's touch. How about eyes? Well, belligerence, it's cockiness, amused mastery, right? I've got my notes here, show my cocky face. Well, how the fuck do I do that? But it's on my video, but I'll be like this, I'll be out like that, right? You know, it's like a kid getting told off at school by a teacher he doesn't respect, you know? What would be the smooth face? That's more twinkle in your eye, right? That's more twinkling. I'm not sure if this is going to even look any different when I do it, but it'd be like, I don't know if that's different, right? But anyway, the whole twinkle in the eye smooth thing, I don't know. I think that's, you're better off looking at Tom for that than me. I'm not that smooth. Okay, next slide. Command presence. Right, remember masculinity, for the terms of this talk, is power and gravitas. Right, command presence, what's that mean? Well, think of when the general of the army comes into the room, right, and everyone snaps to attention, and he immediately walks in and he's telling everyone what to do. He knows he's the relevant authority in that venue, right? Think of it when a good teacher walks into a room full of kids and they all hush and sit down, and the teacher walks straight to the front, right? Immediately assuming command. Well, that's command presence, and that's what happens when you go and stop a girl. You're projecting that command presence, because that immediately sets you up as dominant and flips her over into the feminine, into being submissive. So, In terms of belligerent command presence is like an outward push. You're like pushing your frame onto her. Whereas I'd say smoothness is more like an inwards pull if you're sucking her in. Again, I've slightly exaggerated it to explain. It's a little bit more grey area than that. But when I'm feeling belligerent, I feel like I'm going out and smashing a girl. Whereas when I'm feeling smooth, I feel like I'm sort of like drawing her in. It feels different in how my frame is projecting itself. So let's talk about the basic posture drill that everybody learns, what I call the Daygame pyramid, right? Like as a joke. Right. This is what you'll all learn how to stand when you talk to a girl, right? Well, actually no, what happens is for the first 30 seconds you stand like this, and then it exactly, you set your beeper 30 seconds, you're like right? Right.
Yeah.
Now,
you're incapable.
Oh, fucking hell.
Hit him in the face.
Sorry about that, boss. I'm projecting my frame. Yeah, all this shit's knackered. Like, I need to glue this in as well. It keeps falling off. Right. Right, now there's nothing wrong with that because most shows like stand the wrong way. You have to kind of teach them. But then, like, they get like ever wider like this. You see that, right? But there's a reason why that's taught that way, right? It's strong, commanding body language. Now it becomes a little bit of a caricature, but you have to go through the stage of learning, because most guys, their feet are too close together. Most guys are a bit too hunched over, most guys move around too much, right? So you do learn that, and after a while you move beyond it. And then you can, once you get a bit better at it, you can start making it more sexual, more caddish, or more belligerent. So what would be the examples? Right, now my video product, Upsell, Daygame Overkill, that's where I'm doing what you might call the sexual posture. And what I'm trying to do there is it's barely contained sexual energy. So what we find, I might be standing like this, but I'm like rocking like this, I'm like, I'm almost fucking the girl, my hips, and I'm like this, and the guys at the back maybe can't see, but I'll be like kicking my feet a bit bashfully, I'll be like tapping her feet with my own feet, like shoulders moving a bit. It's a bit more relaxed. It's like there's a barbarian wearing a suit trying to hide the fact that he's a barbarian, but he can't quite hide it coming out, right? Which is the hard soft dominance thing. So that would be a posture drill to work on, moving your shoulders a bit, your hips more, just while keeping the strong pose, just making them more mobile, more alive. And one-handed gestures and cadence drills, right? Okay, I'm probably going back into stuff that you all heard about a year or two ago, but when you gesture to a girl, it's always with the one hand, like that. That's more masculine. Don't ask me why, it just is, right? You watch people do it, you feel the difference. When a guy's gesticulating like this, right, it's a bit too much of a production. It's a bit too much like Gok 1 or something, right? But when the guy's just like this, it's more commanding. Yeah, get in the habit of pointing, indicating like this with one hand, like this, or you can be like, Drill that, right? Get in the habit of using one-handed gestures, right? Voice cadence. Again, a lot of masculine advice is talk low, slow, and not too much. Is that the one you said about John Wayne? I think it was you come up with that, wasn't it?
John Wayne, yeah.
Well, what was the actual quote?
Talk low, talk slow, and don't say too much.
Right, so that's masculine advice. So how does that affect your cadence? Well, you'll start sentences, gesture a bit, pause, and then continue it. And all the time, the girl's drawn in. Right, you see what I just did there, right? That was not like one long unbroken sentence. That was like pauses to wait for gestures, to allow a certain amount of like the girl's reaching it, and then you do the next bit, and then she's reaching in for the next bit, right? It's like keeping them on tenterhooks. So if you watch a lot of good sets, and you just like try and step back for a moment, you'll think like, he's not talking like a normal person. Right? It sounds so much slower and more broken, almost like he's trying to run like hypno-mesmer game. Like a lot of my sets are like that. And that's all about using the right cadence for the girl to project this command presence. Okay. Interruption examples. Right, one way of commanding is that you have the right to speech. Right? You have the right to determine the speech, and she's going to fall in with that. So one way you do that is you interrupt the girl. So what are some examples of interrupting? Well, one I like to do, especially on dates, but in the street, you're like, whoa, 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 when she's talking. That's a good one. It normally makes her clam up, and then you're leading again. Another one would be like, again, this is belligerence. She's talking, you're like, no, 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 shh, 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 shh. And you like put your finger on the lip, shh, like that, right? Very belligerent, very commanding. And girls, if they like you and you do it at the right time, they just start like cracking up and giggling, right? Because they can't believe some guy's doing that to them. Right, another one would be a pattern interrupt through a sexual spike, right? So the girl's talking, you're like, you look at her legs. Yeah, nice legs, by the way. Anyway, carry on. Right, pattern interrupt, spiking, resting control. What it's all got in common is she's kind of going in a certain direction and you're just giving her a fucking nudge off that direction. She's like, oh, fucking hell, right? Symbolically, that's what you're doing with all of these things. You're pattern interrupting, throwing her off balance. And she likes that because when you're being belligerent, what you're trying to do is command her. So, if you think of the belligerent opening as being overwhelming, right? She feels like she's firing a spud gun at a tank, right? It's never going to penetrate the tank, right? Nothing penetrates, everything bounces off. She experiences you as a force of nature. She experiences you as a tidal wave smashing everything in your path. Whereas when you're smooth, you're outmaneuvering her. She feels like she's constantly off balance, that she throws things at you and you catch them and throw them back with interest. That's how she feels on that. She experiences you as being very savvy. Different types of masculinity. Now, I'm up to number 8, but there's 14 slides. Where's Eddie at? Do you reckon I wouldn't mind taking like a 5-minute break because my own brain's fucking dying. Like. Is that alright? Because I must have been talking for an hour, have I? And I'm sure you can't like the sound of my voice as much as I do.